So, what can you tell me about Rant Casey?
Rant Casey? Oh, I can tell you some things about Rant Casey. Get this. The first time I met Rant Casey, we were eating Italian and he says, "You never been snake bit?" He's wearing a coat and I have no idea how mutilated his arms look. As if this is my shortcoming, he keeps goading me saying, "I can't believe a person could live so long without ever being sprayed by a skunk." As if mine has been a life of utter caution and deprivation. Rant shakes his head, looking and sighing at his plate of spaghetti, and turning his head sideways and giving me a look of only at one eye, saying, "If you've never been rabid, you ain't never lived." The nerve of him, like he's some kind of holy man. Get him, he couldn't even work a 3-speed mounted on a steering column. Until that night, he never eaten ravioli.
The little screw-up, that Casey boy, he was presenting symptoms before he bothered to let his folks know that he'd been bit. With rabies, the virus is carried in the saliva of an infected animal. Any bite or lick, even a sneeze, can spread the disease. Once you have it, the virus spreads through your central nervous system, up your spine, and into your brain, where it reproduces. This early stage is called the eclipse phase of the disease. Because you present no symptoms, you can be contagious as all get out, but still look and feel just as normal. This eclipse phase can last a couple of days to years and years, and all that time you can be infecting folks with your saliva.
Instead of boosting pigs, Rant always wanted to go fishing. He used to say, "Life may be a little and boring, but at least it's mine. Not just some assembly line, second-hand, hand-me-down life."
Getting hit by a rattlesnake? That's pretty low tech.
The intolerable aspect was that Buster Casey was a popular boy. He must have been. In the past 10 years, we've treated 6 cases of rabies infection in a male. All 6 cases have been of Buster himself. But we've had 47 infections in girls. Most of those girls attended school with him, and 2 of those being his female teachers. Out of those, 3 chose to terminate pregnancies by unnamed fathers at the same time.
Any way you look at it, Buster was a hazard to have around plants than the bottle.
Rant Casey. Yeah, history is Rant Casey had rabies more of his life than he didn't. Yeah. Hatching that much of any bug in your brain, well, that had to make him some crazy. Still, there's plenty of folks who find crazy people to be very attractive.
Buster didn't ever get me pregnant, but he gave me rabies plenty often. First time, standing under the mistletoe at the school Christmas pageant, 5th grade. One kiss, me wearing my red velvet jumper with a light blouse, standing in the middle of the front row on stage singing "Oh Holy Night," singing notes sweet as any angel, my blonde hair and curls going halfway down my back. Me, the picture of sweetness, and I had rabies, courtesy of Buster Casey.
In all fairness, I can't blame all the infections on that one boy, but we haven't had a single case of rabies since Buster Casey left town.
Loads of girls went rabid my exact same way, maybe half our class freshman year. Brenda Jordan blamed her rabies on bobbing for apples during a Halloween party, taking her turn behind Buster. The fact is, she kissed him. Buster Casey was for some girls what snakes was for him. A kind of place your folks tell you never to go, but a kind of small mistake that'll save you from a bigger mistake later on. Mistakes like kissing Buster, most times it's a worse mistake if you don't make them. After a good-looking boy gives you rabies 2, maybe 3 times, you'll settle down and marry somebody less exciting for the rest of your life.
For our second date, Rant wanted to rake up leaves in a park, look under enough leaves, and to find a bat to bite you. Keep that in mind the next time you jump into a pile of dead leaves.
History is, that boy was very popular, except maybe with his daddy.
How weird is that? A sexually conflicted 13-year-old rattlesnake venom junkie with rabies. Well, it's safe to say that's every father's worst nightmare.
History is, Buster Casey was the kind of mistake every girl needs to make while she's still young enough to recover.
Yeah, it's out there in that desert. Rant looking into my eyes, saying, "You feel a heartbeat?" Me, I was feeling fur, petting fur, underground and buried. That hand of me still pale as a bone. I still nodded yes. Then Rant looked at me, smiling. He says, don't pull out. Feel that fur soft and warm until the punch of something pushing through the slot between my thumb and next finger. The web of skin there through with something sharp. The hole in my hand, not 2 punch marks, not the little horseshoe of a coyote bite. The blood pulsing out of just the one hole, straight and big across. Rant looking at the blood dripping straight across hole. He says, "You've been bit. Jackrabbit bit." Both of us trickling blood out of our holes in our hands and feet. Rant says, "This here," he says, "as far as I'm concerned, this is how church should feel."